This is the first of a series of videos on the restoration of my 1970 Series 2 E Type fixed head coupe. The left-hand drive, should have mentioned. I'm going to do a complete restoration of the car, and in that respect the videos will cover every aspect of the restoration. Not a professional restorer, I'm a home restorer. Not the first car I've restored. I've restored a number, and in recent restorations I've started to do videos to show what is done and how it's done. Now, there's a wealth of information on E-types, good manuals, great websites. The video record is not too bad, but what I've tended to find when I've been searching is that there's lots of before and after, and what you need when you're doing a restoration, what I actually like to look at, is how it was done. Now the videos that I do, I'll actually be showing, yes, the before and after, but also how I've done it, the problems I've encountered in doing it, and in that way it might help others that are going through the same process to actually see a different way of doing it, perhaps. Now, the videos, I'll try and keep them sort of no more than 20 minutes, but it will depend on what I'm doing at the time, what I'm trying to explain. How many videos? I'm restoring two other vehicles just on the other side of the garage, a tractor and an old Daimler. The Daimler's already up to 30 videos, and I'm not complete on that yet, but it's nearing the stages of all the major work's done. I'm getting the stage of painting and assembly. So to give you an idea, there will be a lot of videos. I'm not going to actually show some things that I'm actually doing. Some things I might show and speed up the process. So I'll try and keep the videos as concise as possible, but with the aim of showing how things are done and what problems are encountered when you're trying to do things. I think that's important for people to look at. Now, I've already started this process, but how I'm going to structure the videos I'm not too sure yet. Maybe in the broad categories of, first of all stripping the car, and then the various major components I might put into different parts. So I'll look at that when I'm about to do it. By the time this video becomes public, I'll be well underway. I'd like to actually get a bit ahead of the game in terms of the video process, so I'll be starting this now, which is in 2017. I'm not sure when this first video will be published, but we'll see how that goes. Depends on the progress on the other restorations, but that's what I'm doing now. Hopefully it'll be of interest. It's also of interest to me in the restoration process to actually go back and look at how I've done things. It also helps when I'm reassembling the vehicle to look at what I've done, in particular in stripping the vehicle apart. Also provides a complete record of the restoration of this vehicle. It's one thing to see these vehicles in their splendour with beautiful paint, and I've seen some with beautiful paint, but you're not sure what's underneath. This will show what is underneath, what was done, and how it was done. So in that respect, I think that's important for the history of this vehicle in particular. So that's what I'm about to do. I hope people enjoy it. It may be a bit tedious for others, but get out of it what you will. Just got it home, still on the trailer. The condition of it is, I guess, requiring full restoration. It needs new sills and floors. There's also damage around the rust damage around the rear wheel arches on both sides. In terms of condition overall, it's not too bad. There's a few little dents and things that have been pulled out in very primitive fashion by drilling holes and not actually re-welding them up. That's happened in a few places on the car. So they pulled them out and then used what we would call in Australia bog, or in America Bondo. So this was obviously repaired in terms of car park knobs and so on with Bondo. There is evidence of some previous rust repairs. One here, very poor repair. Once again, was probably covered with Bondo. At some stage in the States, this car has actually had all the paint stripped off, and the rusted sill, at least on this side, and some of the other parts have been cut out, but it progressed no further than that. So the colour you see here is it's probably been described as rust, but what it is, it's red undercoat with a little bit of rust coming through, or surface rust coming through. It's a matching numbers vehicle. Everything checks out there. In terms of the history, I'm still trying to track down the history of this. On the clock it says 40,000 miles. Just a quick look, the registration plate, it looks like it was last registered in 1979, so it's been off the road a very, very long time. And when I look at the condition of the brake discs, I'd say it's just sat in one place for a very long time now. Maybe a lot of this rust has occurred because it's been sitting in a very unfavourable environment. So condition wise of the mechanics, not too sure. The engine oil is perfect in this. I've never seen an old motor with engine oil that actually looks like new oil. So I'm hoping that the motor is okay, and the gearbox. The differential, I've already jacked up the rear end, that seems all tight. I'm trying to free the brake off here till I can easily move it. The ball joints on the upper ball joints are gone. So it's hard to say why it was pulled off the road, but I'll do a little bit more research and try and work that out. What am I going to do with it? Full restoration. I'll make up a cradle, and I'm not going to do what some do, and I think this is beyond that anyway, is to just patch up bits that are damaged. I mean, the inner sill, most of it's okay, parts where it's needs repair, but having done a lot of research on the way these cars should be restored, really the only way to do it properly is to replace the inner and outer sills, irrespective of how much damage is in them, and also the entire floor. And that way I know that the car is quite solid, and the car's worth it in terms of what it is. It deserves a proper restoration, not just a patch up. Certainly in terms of the main structural parts. I've seen the way some of these are done. I've actually seen some repairs being done by some restorers where they've cut the rust out in the floor and made up a new floor section and welded it in. Now you really don't know what the condition of the rest of the sills and the floors are until you actually pull it apart, and I intend to pull it apart. So at this stage I'm just assessing the condition. This stage I'm actually trying to free the brake up to get it off and into the garage, but I'll assess the overall condition and work from there. But it will be completely stripped, rebuilt and reassembled, and it will take a number of years to do that. Now I've started the strip down process of the E Type. This is not the first car I've done. In fact, I've This is probably about number 12, not E-Type of course, many different types of cars. The ones I've been recently doing, people have pulled apart, and I've basically taken on the project of someone's uncompleted work. What I've found is that a lot of people rush in, pull things apart, don't catalogue anything, store them in boxes, maybe, and many years later lose interest and then sell them on. Now I've got a Ferguson tractor over here I'm finishing off, was like that. I've got a 1949 Daimler further over, finishing off, also like that, just boxes of pieces, uncatalogued, unlabelled and so on. This hasn't been touched, which is good. This is one of the reasons I bought it. No one's actually started to do much to it at all. I'm stripping it. As I go through the process of stripping, now you should take photos, that's true, but what I've found, certainly with the last 2 restorations, I take detailed videos. Now I do post videos on YouTube, but there's another benefit of doing that, is that when you take a photograph of, just say, the engine bay here, which is I've only just started to dismantle, you need to make sure you've got a photographic record of the way it was. Now with a single still shot, depends on the angle you take, sometimes you can actually miss a component. So what I've found is that when you do a video process, for example this here, before I started to pull the radiator off, I spent 5 minutes videoing the whole engine bay. So round and round, all different angles, down, inside and so on. So the entire video should actually provide a detailed record of the way it was. Now when I strip, I label things as I take them off, I bag things up, I keep a written record of what I've done when I've taken things off, if I've had any problems. Condition, I'll actually note down condition in my little notebook here. So when it comes to working out what I'm going to do, I've got records of condition, what I've done, what I need to do, I've noted down in here. So it just makes it a lot easier. You just don't have a collection of miscellaneous bits and pieces. Now various components, once they're bagged, will be stored in different boxes. So boxes for electrical, boxes for cooling and so on. So you need to be methodical. If you're not, you end up with problems later on. So at this stage I've already taken the radiator off. My intention is to work backwards to the bulkhead, and I'll, as I say, I'll catalogue everything as I take it off. And the true restoration won't start for a while yet, because I've got to make sure everything's stripped off. Then I've got to make the cradle, and I want to make sure that I make the cradle properly and so everything's aligned. So that'll take some time, but then again I've got 2 other restorations to finish off, so there's plenty of work to do. No rush. You rush into it, you can end up with a lot of problems later on.